Europe is arguing about phone calls to Moscow, about Washington's role, about who sits at the negotiating table. But that's not the real story. The real story is happening quietly in Brussels. And it's much bigger. Mario Draghi has just delivered a warning, not about paperwork, not about technical reform, about power. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Europe is rich, Europe is educated, Europe is stable, but Europe is not structured for power. America has Wall Street, China has the state. Europe has 27 systems, 27 capital markets, 27 defense procurement chains, 27 political vetoes. And Draghi is asking a brutal question. How do you compete globally like that? Let's start with money. Europe actually saves more than the United States. Households, pension funds, institutional investors. There is no shortage of capital. But that capital does not move freely across borders. A German pension fund hesitates to finance a French startup. An Italian investor struggles with regulatory fragmentation. A Spanish company often ends up listing in New York. Why? Because Europe still behaves like a collection of national markets, not a continental one. And that means one thing. Scale is missing. Now look at defense. After Ukraine, Europe promised to rearm. Defense budgets went up, headlines were strong. But behind the headlines? Fragmentation, different tanks, different aircraft programs, national champions protected by politics. If Europe wants to guarantee Ukraine's security long-term, it cannot rely indefinitely on Washington. Not when American politics is unpredictable, not when the White House can change direction every 4 years. Strategic autonomy is a nice phrase, but autonomy requires capacity, and capacity requires integration. This is where Draghi's warning becomes existential. He is not arguing for ideology. He is arguing for structure. Without a true capital markets union, Europe cannot finance its green transition at scale. Without coordinated defense procurement, Europe cannot build credible deterrence at scale. Without deeper fiscal coordination, Europe cannot act quickly in crisis. Now add Germany to the picture. For decades, Germany was the engine, cheap energy, industrial dominance, export power. That model cracked, energy costs rose, growth slowed, business confidence weakened. When Germany hesitates, Europe hesitates. And that hesitation is visible right now, because federalization is not a technical issue. It is political dynamite. Northern states fear debt mutualization. Smaller states fear domination by larger economies. Hungary's political trajectory complicates unanimity. So Brussels talks about capital markets union. It talks about defense integration. It talks about coalitions of the willing. What it is really talking about is this. Should Europe become a federal power, not a symbolic federation, a functional one, with real financial depth, with real defense consolidation, with real borrowing capacity? Because here is the global reality. Washington is transactional. Moscow is revisionist. Beijing is strategic. The world is reorganizing around power blocks. And Europe? Europe is still negotiating with itself. Draghi is not shouting. He is not campaigning. He is issuing a diagnosis. If Europe wants to shape the post-war order, it needs instruments of power. If it does not build them, it will adapt to decisions made elsewhere. That is the choice. Federalize slowly and deliberately, or fade gradually and quietly. The next few months will tell us whether this report becomes policy or just another Brussels document filed away. Because the 21st century is not waiting for European hesitation. If you found this analysis sharp, like the video. Subscribe to the channel and visit westernrelations.com for deeper political analysis of the Western world. Thank you for watching.